I just spent the last 20 minutes or so getting into so-called government drug dealing. But saying government, gives it too much respect. These are rogue criminal elements that have taken over our government. And now, instead of denying that they traffic with narcotics, they think you're so weak-minded that they have ABC, CBS, Fox, and others in the last year come out and go, yes, it's true. We help grow the opium. I mean, it's so industrial, it's so huge that they're giving them the fertilizer, the transport, the security, reportedly even having troops dig and help plant it when they need help during harvest, and the troops are given a little extra cash. This is part of the corrupting of the troops. And the government's like, look, we had to kill Pat Tillman over this. He didn't go along with it. We had to murder him. We got caught doing that. What do we do? And they go, you just go public with it. You just go public and go, oh, yeah, I'm barbecuing kids in the backyard. It's no big deal. And that's what they've done. And they get Geraldo up there to go, the patriotic duty. Let's cut to the Marine Corps colonel with all the troops standing around looking freaked out. Because the troops are like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here growing this opium? Shut up or they'll frag you. Everybody knows, that the bosses up top are getting a big piece of this. I know, but it's just wrong. Hey, go along, you'll get a piece of it. And the commanders are like, look, this operation's so big, what do we do? Well, the American people are so dumb now, we'll just come right out and say we're helping grow it and that it's to fight al-Qaeda, and they'll buy it. I mean, look, they let the TSA stick their hands down their pants. They let us put radioactive isotopes in the sodium fluoride in the water. Why not? They love it. The public hasn't even noticed that their cancer rates have doubled in the last 10 years and their diabetes rates. They haven't even noticed that we've stolen $27 trillion and are bankrupting them. So we might as well just ship it in publicly. In fact, we ought to just have stores where the government openly sells heroin and cocaine, and then we'll even bring it into schools and have it as part of the school lunch program to inject the children. But as soon as the child injects the heroin, then we'll have an officer arrest them. In fact, I think that sounds like satire, but I think that's the level it's coming to next, where you'll be ordered to inject your child with heroin, but then you'll be arrested after you're ordered to inject it. I mean, that is basically what this has come to. And it will continue. It will not stop. It is going to intensify. Oh, my gosh. Okay, I've got a lot of other news that I want to cover here. But that's why I get mad when I pull up to a checkpoint. It's happened, I don't know, 3 or 4 times over the years. And the police ask to search my car. And I just look at them and I say, for what? And they said, do you have any guns, knives, other objects, drugs? I just look at them and I just say, you're not stupid. You know the government brings the drugs in, and I don't use your products. Now, you can go get a drug dog, and I know that your drug dog is big and fat and alerts every time you bring it. You claim probable cause because it gets a biscuit. I understand that. But you want to go ahead and search, 50 other cars while that happens, or go get the drug dog and let's just do this. Now, one time I let them search it because I had to get to the radio station. I was on in like 30 minutes. This has got to be like 14 years ago. And it wasn't even a checkpoint. I got pulled over on 183 North the time when I was over there at KJFK. And the cop pulled me over, and he goes, I want to search this car. And I just said, okay, please hurry. I got to get to work. And as soon as I do that, he said, oh, that's all right. You can go. Again, probably not even a corrupt cop. He was just wanting to see if I had something. So I'm like, go ahead. And then he could see that I could care less. I just wanted to get out of there, so he left me alone. Look, I don't use your products. Let's get that straight. I used the CIA's products 2 times when I was a teenager, once at a party and once at a basketball court. And both times it felt like I'd just been through a traumatic experience. You know that feeling after a really bad car wreck and you're wide awake and feel kind of dirty in your brain, like, ugh, like everything's grungy? That's what your product, cocaine, makes me feel like. It makes me feel like hell. It destroys my confidence. But I'm told people that don't have confidence, they like it. For me, it's like hell on earth. Same thing with marijuana. Every time I've smoked it, it just makes me feel depressed and paranoid, except once. And I was told that was some type of super medical grade stuff. And by the way, you're like, oh my gosh, marijuana. Just be honest about it. Demystify it. Cocaine's horrible. Methamphetamine's horrible. Valium's horrible. All these drugs are horrible. Whether they're over-the-counter, prescription, any of this stuff. Whether it's illegal drugs. Demystify it. It's what losers do. Demystify getting drunk as being cool, like Hollywood. You notice Hollywood sells drugs as cool, alcohol is cool, cigarettes is cool. That's because it was product placement. Demystify it all, folks. It's horrible. It's terrible. Don't ever use it for the first time. You want to get high? Go rock climbing. You want to get high? Go hiking up a whole mountainside. When you get to the top, you're going to be high. When you get back down to the bottom that night and are eating dinner in a cabin, you're going to be high on life. Or win at business, or win in your personal life. Or go to a swim meet and watch your daughter and son both get the blue ribbon. That's going to make you high. Having our big story, stories we break up on the Drudge Report, that gets me high. Now, there are some drugs I like, and this is, by the way, a bad drug. My wife's almost completely off of it. I'm trying to kick it, and that's called coffee. You drink coffee long enough, it doesn't even really get you stimulated anymore. You just need it to be stimulated. So I guess at the end of the day, I have a drug problem because I am a depressed zombie and cannot operate without coffee. So let's just all demystify it. Do you put people in prison because they drink 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day? I've cut back to about 2 big ones a day now, instead of 6 or 7. I wash down to 1 little cup in the morning. I mean, do we deserve to go to prison? No. It's a serious brain stimulant. When old lady drinks some tea, do you put her in prison? Rush Limbaugh hurt his back, got on Oxycontin. It's extremely addictive. It's synthetic heroin. Do we put Rush Limbaugh in prison because he got addicted? The brain's designed to get addicted. No. But Rush Limbaugh shouldn't support mandatory sentences for heroin and cocaine, as he still does. That is so hypocritical. And I'm not even here trying to bash Rush. I'm just saying you've got to stop being hypocrites in life. And we're all hypocrites to a certain extent. We all make mistakes. We all do things that are wrong. We all subconsciously lie. Even we don't know we're lying. We'll kind of twist things to not hurt somebody's feelings or, whatever the case may be. But see, I've trained myself that when I catch myself later doing something, that I'm ashamed of it. At least I try to not be like that. Most people don't even think about it. And that's why we've gotten to have a delusional culture. There was a big university study that confirmed all the other studies that just came out a few weeks ago that I've attempted to cover. I've read the headlines here about studies show peer pressure can make you physically change your memories. Brain scans show in the brain. That's what a magician does. They've done the studies where you can say, here's a blue car, here's a red car. And then have the authority figure get up there and say, this car is red when it's clearly blue. And the majority of people, if they're told by an authority figure that the car is red when it's really blue, will go ahead and say, okay, it's red if you say so. And that's why I routinely hear national talk show hosts attack me. I can just randomly go to the dial and hear it. That's why I can listen to local radio and hear them say, that Alex Jones saying our police are dealing drugs. I just find it hard to believe that our good officers out on the street are dealing drugs. You find it hard to believe the government's been caught over and over again doing it. I mean, major banks don't get in trouble laundering hundreds of billions a year when they, quote, get caught. I mean, what are you talking about? And they always build straw men. That officer out there clearing up a wreck on the road isn't a drug dealer, and I don't appreciate certain people saying that. I've actually heard a talk show host here in town say that about me. He's a pretty good guy, I know him, but he's a retired police officer. These people on this station saying that the police deal the drugs, I don't appreciate it. The police officers work hard. They're out there cleaning up wrecks and risking their lives. Well, obviously, the cop changing tires or running red light checks isn't dealing drugs, and I didn't say that. It's the higher-ups know what's going on and are told what to do by the feds and what to leave alone. That's what's on record. So stop building straw men. I didn't say the cop that's in your church is dealing drugs. I didn't say that. What I said is they are on record, the feds and the higher-ups and the detective vice squads in every major city have been caught over and over again running the drugs and living in million-dollar houses when the beat cops living in the blue-collar neighborhood with a broke-down pickup truck. And police should stop putting up with this. Of course, you know what happens when you do. What happened to Serpico? You get shot in the face. What happened to Serpico, famous New York cop? Had to leave the U.S. because of death threats. Moved to Switzerland. Played by Al Pacino in the movie Serpico. First day on the job, he's brought up to narcotics detective, been on the force 10 years. They go shake down some robbers that have got some stolen diamond necklaces, and they give him the equivalent of a 3 or 4 month salary diamond bracelet. And he says, I don't want that. And they say, oh, yeah, take it. By the way, I've had famous detectives from New York on talking about these things that happen. And they're like, you're not going to take that? Just do it. Even if you don't, it'll make the guys feel better. That's called a corruption. And remember the tens of billions, by the end of it, I think it was like 60 billion. Pull it up. Pallets of money flown in, try billions on pallets flown into Baghdad. And then at first it was 20 and then 40 and then 60. I forget the last number. And I've talked to so many military personnel, including folks that are known to me personally for many years. I'll just leave it at that. And that's what happens. If you're just a regular sergeant, they go, hey, the captain calls you in or the colonel calls you in. You know what? You've been working hard. It's tough. Our military doesn't get paid enough over here. Here's $10,000 just to help your family. And, of course, you're not paid enough to live. The contractors are being paid $180,000 on average. The combat contractors, you're getting paid maybe $25,000, $30,000 a year if you're lucky. You know, your wife's calling up saying, we're bankrupt, we can't live, there's inflation, so you want to take it. The minute you take that, now you're corrupted. Yeah, there's one of the older articles, 2007. It's a lot more now. London Guardian. How the U.S. sent $12 billion in cash into Iraq and watched it vanish. Special flights brought in tons of banknotes, which disappeared into the war zone. Yeah, and it went to the different rival groups, not to fight the U.S. forces and NATO forces and Allied forces, to be technical. But by the time, I know you can pull it up. Try that headline, but just put 40 billion in there. See if you can find that one. I know I read those numbers. Now, if you're higher up, you're a colonel, they call you in and say, you know what, here's $100,000 in $100 bills. And you're like, I'm supposed to take this? Yeah, we all are. George Bush cares about you, and Cheney cares, and they understand what you're going through, and they don't think it's fair what the contractors are getting. This is actually what they're told, so this is yours. Now, once you've taken that $100,000, what happens when they send from the Pentagon somebody who wouldn't take the money, a Army inspector, a captain, a colonel, a Marine Corps inspector? You know how many hundreds have been fragged? And they come in and start noticing that contractors are getting, $15 million for a $500 blue tarp, or that the water's rotten that the troops are getting, or that everything's falling apart and stuff's being stolen out of the warehouses. Well, they get shot in the head. They commit suicide, or an IED blows them up. Or Pat Tillman says, I'm not going along with this. And they say, oh, really? You're not going along with this? And, of course, what are they going to do when the Army coroner, who was a colonel, says, no, he was killed. This was a homicide. He was shot, it appears, at over 100 yards. And that's what the witness lawyer came out and said. He begged for his life, hid behind a rock, said, I'm a friendly. And they knew that. And then they went up and shot him at about, what do they say, 6 yards away, they estimated, from the powder burns, a 3-shot M16 burst right across the front of his face. Begging. And they went up to the NFL star, stuck a gun right up to him and killed him. Because after they first shot him into his body armor and he was wounded, he got up and waved his arms and said, it's me, I'm a friendly. And they kept shooting, so he got down and hid, and they came up and got him. That's who runs America, okay? You need to grow up and understand that. And none of us are safe. These bankers are going to implode everything.